We have Director of Athletics Bill Maher, Canisius head men's basketball coach Jim Barron. Bill will have a statement, Coach will have a statement, and then we will take questions from there. If anybody needs any one-on-ones or anything afterwards, just see me and we'll be able to take care of it. So, give you Bill Maher.
Thanks, Matt, and appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming on short notice to the members of the media. Appreciate you being here today. Yesterday afternoon, Coach Barron informed me of his decision to retire from coaching college basketball. The news came as a surprise, even a bit of a shock, as we had, through our contract discussions, he had been very enthusiastic about continuing to coach young men and teach the game of basketball. So Jim can explain more when he talks, but certainly I think his recent trip to Belgium to see his two sons play, who are here with us today, I think that really is where the start of the change of heart happened, and family was a key driver in the process. As we move forward, we've talked a little bit in the release. Pat Clark will be our associate head coach, will be our interim head coach. Pat has been instrumental in what we've done here at Canisius over the last 4 years with Jim's leadership. And when Jim asked me about him wanting to put Pat in that role, I was supportive of it. We'll begin an expedited search. We will do that in short order, and we will try and move through that as quickly as possible, but always keeping what's best for our program in the forefront of our mind. As we look to today, when we brought Jim here 4 years ago, it was the goal of restoring Canisius basketball and the success of Canisius basketball, and over these last 4 years, Jim has done just that. 73 victories, which is really the third best in the MAC conference over that 4-year period. Doing that with the student athletes, his staff, and the kids and again the young men on the team has been fantastic, and I think it's demonstrated that success at Canisius is possible. We thank him for his efforts there, his efforts in leading the young men in the classroom, which is always important to Jim and everything he's done throughout his career, and was one of the first things he talked about with me when we talked about this position 4 years ago. So all of the seniors have graduated for him, and as I think Matt has also shared, 4 of those young men have also earned their master's degree. Beyond the wins, he's impacted hundreds of young men in the game of basketball, and the seniors that have come through our program have been in constant contact with him after they've left. They graduated from Canisius, as we said. It's with much regret that we announced that Jim's retirement. We would look forward to having him be as our coach, but we wish him well in his future, and certainly are proud that Canisius has been a part of what is a great career. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jim Barron.
Thanks, Bill. I've given this decision a lot of thought, and it's been very, very emotional. Going over to Belgium, spending time with my children, those 2 guys right there, it's a very emotional time, and I'm making the decision to spend more time with my family. I want to be a father. I want to be a grandfather. That's what's important to me at this time. I'm lucky to have coached both of the guys. Jimmy at the University of Rhode Island, Billy up here at Canisius. I want to thank President John Hurley. I want to thank Bill Maher for giving me the opportunity. I want to thank all of my assistants over the years. So many guys working behind the scene on my staff have helped me to win 462 games. And also graduation rate, close to 100%. So I thank Buffalo, Western New York, and Southern Ontario for embracing me. They are always special, and they have a special place in my heart. I love Buffalo. I'm going to remain in Buffalo. The Canisius community has embraced me from day one. We won 73 games here. This program is in a good place. That's what I've tried to do each and every day, every job that I've been at. So, it has been very, very emotional. I remember what Valvano said, and the beauty of coaching student athletes, of the guys that I've had. You want to laugh, and I think that we laughed a lot. You want to cry, and I think we cried a lot. And you want to think, and you want to think a lot, and we did that. So, it made it a heck of a day, it made it a heck of a journey, and I've been fortunate to be at some excellent programs where I can do it the way I wanted to do it, develop the student athletes. But, you know, I got a text today from one of my former players, and he texted me from Italy, and he said, "Coach, I want to thank you for giving me a chance and for staying with me and for making me a better person." And, you know, it's things like that that are just very, very special. And to have these two guys right there, you know, and being over with them, and then spending time with Jimmy's two daughters, who are my granddaughters. They call me Coach Pops. And let me tell you something, you know, I came from a family, and I got one of my brothers here, Eddie, and my father was a construction worker. You know, he passed away at 65. And, you know, I think the first time he saw me play was on television. And, you know, it's a tough time. But you have two guys like this. It's a beautiful thing. And I don't take it for granted. And I wish more coaches can enjoy the experience. And to coach them and to be around them and to see what they are, what they represent, and how they play, what kind of human beings they are, it's something that's very, very special. So, you know, it is a very, very tough decision because I put my heart, soul into everything I do. And that's why I love it so much. But now it's time to step away and give my time to my kids, to my family, to my grandkids, and enjoy it. So thank you all for being here, and I'll take any questions that you may.
Coach, how close had you been to making this decision over the last couple years, and what put it over the edge for you?
Well, I think, you know, as I went on, and again, doing it the right way as a college basketball coach is something that I value, graduating student athletes. And I think that I was spoiled with coaching my sons. And I think as I move forward and, I had a couple of things. I had a couple of hernias. I had hip replacement, things like that, which everybody does. But, I needed to take care of myself. And, you know, I was over in Italy with Jimmy, and he said to me, he said, "Dad, when are you going to slow down?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I want you around for my grandkids." You know, when something like that happens, I don't take that lightly. And then, you know, my kids leave, they go overseas, a lot of stuff's going on. And they got grandkids. And I told them, I said, you know, I want to be your dad. I don't want to just be your coach. And it's something that I felt.
Was it just something like when you're in Belgium and you're hanging out with your grandchildren, did it just like come to you all at once that like now is the time because this is where I want to be?
I needed time by myself. I needed time away from everything. And, you know, I put a lot of thought in everything that I do. And I just felt it was the time. Sometimes there's no good time. When you get fired from jobs, and in this profession, it's so unpredictable. It's, so it's where I'm at right now, and, I am healthy. I am gonna live in the area. I love Western New York. I love Ontario. This has been a great area for me. It's like a second home. We're spending so many years up here, and down in Olean and in Rochester. So, but, you know, I'm also, you know, I never even got a chance to say thank you to the people in Rhode Island, you know, because I left so abruptly. And so it'll give me a chance to travel and, you know, see some of my former teammates. You know, S.C. Hollis is down in Florida. He's like a brother to me. Go down to Atlanta. I have a very good friend, Brian Reynolds, who helped us with the program. And so there's a lot of things that I have on, you know, my bucket list that I would love to do. And, you know, in this profession, sometimes you don't get a chance to do that because you're just in such a rat race.
How long were you in Belgium, and when did you come back?
It was last week, 2 weeks ago.
And
I
when
was
did
in
you get
Belgium.
back?
I
This
got back
past week?
Sunday night.
You talked a lot about how you work with so many young men and probably help shape some of who they are today. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and some of the best memories you've had?
It's called tough love, and it's unconditional trust. And, you know, growing up the way that my brother and myself grew up in Brooklyn, we grew up in a project, low-income housing, subsidized housing, 8 kids, okay, 7 boys, 1 girl, 3 bedrooms. Do the math. Where's everybody sleeping? A lot of bunk beds. We were minority growing up. So when I go around the country and talk to kids, they talk about minorities. Well, we were a minority. And, you know, growing up in that type of environment with the type of diversity that we had was incredible. Every day was a learning lesson of just life. Every environment was a different neighborhood. You know, I've coached the Panama Olympic team for a period of 10 years. And people would say, you know, how do you coach the Panama Olympic team? And I would say, well, it's just another neighborhood in Brooklyn. You got the Irish, you got the Italians, you got the Jewish, you got the Panamanians, you got the Puerto Rican, you know, so you have a diversity of people. So, you know, when I recruit guys, you know, I challenge them. I mean, I really challenge them, and I've dismissed a lot of kids because they didn't follow the guidelines that what I've asked them to do. But I remember I had one young man, and he transferred from a Big East school, very reputable, and him and I had it out because he wouldn't do the things that I asked him to do about going to class and doing his work. And we almost had a fight. I mean, I was a little bit nervous because he's 6'7" and I'm 6'2". But I thought I'd give him a good run. I mean, somebody would break it up, but I know I could give him a good run. And he sent me. I saw him 2 years ago, and we're in a gymnasium, and now he's coaching. He said, "Coach, can I see you?" And I thought I did something wrong. He said, "Coach, I want to tell you this. You saved my life. You saved my life." I mean, that was profound. And he says, "I want to thank you. My wife wants to thank you, and my son wants to thank you because I didn't back down to him." And that's how it is. I remember when I was down at St. Bonaventure, I worked at a Great Valley Youth Camp for 4 straight years, taking students from school and going to this Great Valley Youth Camp, which was all juvenile delinquents. And they were kids that I grew up with. I never had a problem with any of that. And it was just so easy to do. And that's coaching, and is guiding, you know, guiding. Kevin Bleeker, you know, I gave these kids a book when they graduated called Networking as a Contact Sport. And the writer is a guy named Joe Sweeney. He's a very good friend of mine. So I asked him to send me these books so I can give the graduates. Well, I give Kevin, I give Jamal, I give Malcolm, I give them all a book, and it's all signed by him. I get a letter back from Joe Sweeney saying, "I got this note from Kevin Bleeker thanking me because he read the book." I mean, come on. That stuff is unbelievable. I mean, that's this young man who's going to get a master's degree. So, you know, and Jamal's like that. I mean, these guys, it's real, it's valuable. And that's what it's all about. And then, you know, with seeing my guys, you know, after the games were over, and you know, it was kind of tough. And this woman came up to me and he says, "Coach, I want to thank you for your sons." And meanwhile, Billy's kissing the fans and Jimmy's kissing this fella in a wheelchair. And I'm watching it. And I'm saying, boy, I don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss that. I mean, they're connecting the dots. It's more than basketball. It's humanity. And, you know, being their father, being their dad. Oh man, I'm the happiest guy in the world to be able to coach, you know, guys like this and my own sons. And we battled now, okay? And Valvano says laugh, we battled. Because we'd have meetings right after the game, before the game, or after the game, close the door, and we'd have battles. You know, run this for me, run that for me, run this, run that. Billy, Dad, they're trapping me. Dad, you know, who? You know? So, they're coming at you. He gets the cut at Niagara, it's bleeding, coming to the sidelines. He looks at me. He said, go get it fixed. Okay? He gets his stitch, he comes back, let's go. We go right back in the game, you know? I mean, it's experiences like that that are just so invaluable that as a coach, I'm really glad that the 39 years, I mean, 39 years. And I was talking to somebody yesterday and they go, and you work for Digger 6, but that's really 10. And I'll tell him that when I see him, because he invited me to his 75th birthday. But, you know, I mean, these are experiences that, you know, just unbelievable. And a lot of people, and, you know, I got Pat Clark and Mike Isolino, and when I taken over St. Francis, people said, Coach, it's gonna be your last job. I said, what are you talking about? They said, it's in the boonies. It's up in the mountains. There's all trees and grass and mountains. I said, I love mountains. I love trees. I grew up in Brooklyn. I love the outdoors. Nobody's hustling. So, and then we proceeded, you know, with Mike, you know, unbelievable journey that nobody ever thought we could do by going to the NCAA tournament in 4 years. So it's all been, you know, just tremendous experiences at, you know, very good institutions and experiences that last a lifetime. But getting back to those two guys, I mean, it's tremendous. It's just been a tremendous run and experience, and I'm looking forward to being able to share their lives with them and share with, you know, grandkids, and be a father, and be a grandfather, and be a brother, and brother to my brothers and my sister, and, you know, my relatives, and, you know, so.
Jim, how is your health and your energy? Like, could you have continued if you wanted?
Yeah, I could do it. I you know, the problem I do it at times is I probably overdo it, you know, and again, but my health is very good. I don't have any issues, any problems, but you know, it just I'm animated. I coach like I play, you know, and it's just, and that's why I fear these guys doing the same thing, because I think they're going to coach like they play it. It's a lot of energy, and it's a lot of enthusiasm, excitement, and sweat. It's a lot of sweat, you know. So it's all part of it.
So you don't get the sense you get here is that you don't envision like this as being a sabbatical, and 3 years from now you'll come back and, you know,
No.
coach Claremont Maude or something.
No, I don't envision any of that, right? You know, I mean, I'm taking time to just really reflect and really just enjoy the time with my kids, my grandkids.
Bill, where does this leave you right now? The classes in the fall semester start in 3 months. Is that enough time to find a coach?
Yeah, I mean, there's never a great time to do a coaching search. You never want to have transition in any program, but you know, we will, like I said, we will do an expedited search. We'll do what's the best thing for our program and the young men who are in our program, and we'll continue to move forward. But yeah, there is enough time to figure out what the direction needs to be.
What do you mean by, what do you infer when you say an expedited search?
Well, everybody wants to pin you down for, can I have it done by next Tuesday? And I say that we always want to move along as quickly as we can, because there's a lot of people who have questions, right? There's a lot of people who are kind of now in a holding pattern that we need to try and get answers for them. And that's what I mean. I don't want to tell those people that, we'll get back to you in a week or two. We recognize that there's questions out there, and we want to try and move as expeditiously as possible.
Jim, where are you? Where were you in recruiting for next year?
We have 2 guys signed right now, and we have 3 scholarships available.
Anything else for Coach or Bill Maher?
Coach, I heard you mention it before, and I guess you answered it to a certain extent, but you mentioned Brooklyn, your Brooklyn roots many times over the years. Can you just talk about how those roots have guided you through your basketball career and what they've meant to you?
Well, first of all, we grew up and my mother taught me to respect everyone. And growing up in a project, our next door neighbors were African American. The other door would be from, Puerto Rican descent. Upstairs would be from Africa. Downstairs, it would be, so growing up in that kind of environment with that kind of diversity, it was fabulous. There was no bickering, there was no prejudice, there was nothing like that. Everybody was somebody. And then the beauty of growing up in a project is everybody had the same backyard. Nobody had anything better than anyone else. The problem you had is once you went to the courts, there probably was 25 guys on the court. So now you had to play your way on the court, and to stay on the court, you had to keep winning. So, we had a playground in front of the buildings, and in the buildings, it was a conglomeration of about 13 buildings. So the amount of people that lived in there it was a community inside of, it was like a little city. And that's how you grew up. And then down the street was another park and playground. So everything was shared. Everything was shared. And then we would have people come into our house to borrow milk, to borrow sugar, to borrow, that's unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And then, my father, which, I found out as I'm moving forward, because he wasn't real educated, he was a provider. He made sure we had food on the table and a roof over our head. But, he was a little bit of an Archie Bunker. And I remember we won the NIT championship in Madison Square Garden, and I was the only guy from New York City. So it was on my birthday, March 20th. And after the game, I said, I said, we're coming back to my house. My mother has a birthday cake for me, and my brothers are all there. And so I said, why don't you come with me? He's like my brother. I'm godfather to his daughter, and we're real tight. So we win the NIT. It's in Madison Square Garden. Billy was, he was there. There's probably 13,000 people, 14. Marv Albert, Bucky Waters doing a game. And my brothers are all there, so we're trucking back to Brooklyn. Essie's coming back, we go back to Brooklyn. I said, listen, my father's a unique guy. I'm trying to be nice. I said, I don't know what he's gonna say to you. I said, I don't know if it's just be said. Don't worry about it, I'll handle it. So we come to my house, everybody's there, we're singing happy birthday, we're going, and we get on, so we leave there, we go to LaGuardia, we got a flight back to Buffalo, coming back, they got a police escort down to Olean, and about 2 weeks later, we're speaking at American Legion. And so we're the co-captains, so they have both of us there. I get up to speak. Now Essie gets up to speak. So we go talking, and then Essie says, I met Mr. Barron. I go, oh, here we go. Is this gonna be, what's coming out of his mouth, He said, you know what, I really like him. He said, because he's equal. He don't like nobody. He don't like his kids, he don't like his wife, he don't like blacks, he don't like Puerto Ricans, he don't like Italians, he don't like nobody, you know? So, I mean, it was just kind of funny, but it's that kind of diversity that you grow up with. And then playing ball, you know, my older brothers, they were really, really good. I mean, and when you're playing in that kind of environment, most of the time you got to fight. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's a tough environment, and you learn quick and early about self-esteem. And so I saw my brothers, I saw the respect I had for my brothers, and I followed them around. And my brother was hanging out with Lou Alcindor. They were good friends. They would go to camp up at Friendship Farm with Jack Donahue, who ended up coaching Holy Cross, and Coach Lou Alcindor at Powell Memorial. So I kind of followed their footsteps, and I just played all the time, because it's a playground. That's all you had. It didn't cost you money. And I always tell people, I think basketball is a poor man's game. And you know, you got a ball, you got sneakers, you got holes in your sneakers, but you play basketball in the neighborhood all day long. So guys would come, there would be winos come, there'd be guys drinking beer, and you're playing one-on-one. So as we played, I got better, and the self-esteem just kind of grew and grew. Then I got a scholarship to high school, St. John's Prep, which is run by the Vincentians, and played at St. John's Prep. I also played CYO basketball, being from the project, going to high school, playing CYO. And when I was an altar boy at St. Cecilia's Parish, the priest knew I loved basketball, Father McKeenan. So he would take me to college games, and the games he took me was St. Bonaventure. Little did he know, because he did his novitiate in East Aurora, Christ the King Seminary. So now I'm at the Bonaventure, when they were good. They were Bob Lanier, was from Buffalo, and great player. So I'm playing CYO at the end of my senior year. I had a good senior year, scored a lot of points, but I didn't have many offers. So I'm playing in this tournament in CYO with this coach Bob Godlewski, St. Anthony's Parish, and I'm playing against this team from St. Francis de Sales in Rockaway. And on the team was the best high school players in the city. And Larry Weesey was at the game. He's looking at the player I'm playing against, Tim Flanagan. Mike Dunleavy was in the stands, and his choices were Bonaventure, South Carolina. Well, anyway, I'm playing against this kid from Malloy, and the guy I played for gave me so much confidence that I just went at this guy that there was no tomorrow. And after the game was over, I had a heck of a game, knock on my door, and Larry Weesey said, Jim, how would you like a scholarship to St. Bonaventure? And then Bob Sasson came back the next year, and he recruited me also, and that was it, So Brooklyn got me ready for opportunities of not only basketball, but education too, because I got into St. John's Prep, okay? It also got me a liking to diversity and treat everyone like you want to be treated yourself, and that's what my mother would say with 8 kids. My father was the guy that was the provider, but my mother was the one that this is what you're gonna do, and going to Catholic school and sharing everything, be nice to everybody, and be yourself, and so, the opportunities that Brooklyn gave me were unbelievable, because I figured it out that just because I grew up there didn't mean that I had to live there once I graduated. You know what I mean? So it really gave me the infrastructure of being able to be receptive to everyone, especially in coaching, recruiting, coaching Panama, you know, I mean, I loved it. You know, I knew enough Spanish, I mean, there's enough Spanish, and I took Spanish in high school, so, very easy adjustment.
Any other questions for Coach? Coach, thank you very much.